Hi, my name is Comet and welcome to my Cosmic Corner of the Internet, where we discuss all things astrology, and today all things Capricorn New Moon December 23rd, 2022, and you. How the cosmos are giving you a fresh, fertile new start within your world to both root down to where it is that you are presently, set your sights upon where it is that you'd like to go, while also be supplemented with the courage to bridge the gap between the two. This Capricorn New Moon is a fascinating blend of practicality meeting passion, of endurance meets initiative. This new moon is the one that you're going to want to work with if you want to set New Year's resolutions before the end of the year. Do not wait until the 1st. This is a much more fertile ground for you to anchor the initiatives that you want to bring into fruition within the next trip around the sun, with some very important caveats, which we will dive into as we break down the Capricorn New Moon collective themes. We'll take it into how it is that you can celebrate this new moon, how you can find where this new moon lands within your chart, and then we'll take it house by house, sign by sign, to find out where you are having this fertile, grounded, practical new start with a little bit of zest with the square to Jupiter, but we'll be breaking it all down. And just a quick note, if you gain any value from this video, I would deeply appreciate any engagement. It really helps me to create cosmic content, from a like to a subscription, notifications, any button truly that you want to hit down there. I would so deeply appreciate it if I earn it, right? Capricorn energy. This is all about keeping our standards high and ambitions high. So without further ado, let's take it into the collective New Moon in Capricorn reading. Okay, so let's talk about this Capricorn new moon. Firstly, what you need to know is that it exacts on Friday, December 23rd at 2:17 a.m. PST, and it lands at 1 degree Capricorn. Let's get you familiar with the energy of Capricorn. Capricorn is all about ascending and elevating to the highest of one's standards, or one's potential, or one's ability. It is an energy that is deeply interested in actualization, which is fleshing out the highest of our potential, elevating to the highest of what it is that we can accomplish. Oftentimes we talk about Capricorn, it's associated with business. Certainly that is an avenue that a lot of Capricorn energy wants to ascend within, but the real crux of the Capricorn energy is simply ascending to the heights of what it is that you want, of attaining those ambitions that you dream about, right? Regardless of the industry. That could be in parenting, that could be within your family, that could be within farming, that could be within art. Just being able to live a life where it's like, I really did the best that I could with what I had and ascended to the heights of what it was that I was capable. That is the focus of this new moon. And it's really important that Capricorn energy isn't about, you know, good things happen to those who dream. It's like good things happen to those who work. Like, this is a new moon. While the energy of new moon is all about envisioning what it is that we want, the energy of Capricorn is deeply concerned about how it is that we can tether these ideas, how it is that we can make the intangible into tangible, how it is that we can take these visions and make them physical, make them concrete, right? So with this Capricorn new moon, it is very supportive around those lofty ambitions that we have, and particularly if they are rooted somewhat on Earth, right? Like, this wouldn't be the lunation that I would say dream up the craziest thing that you've ever imagined. Like, definitely something practical, something that you could see the step-by-step around. Okay, if I started this e-commerce business, I would have to do this, and maybe I could do this, and I could make it happen. Like, seeing sequentially how it is that you could bring what it is that you desire into fruition. Now, important to keep in mind, with new moons, it's not that you need to like design the entire business plan. I just want you to see the potential in your vision. I want you to ground it down, tether it so it feels more real, because that is the territory that the energy of Capricorn is mostly interested in playing. Now, there is a drive and an impatience to this new moon that I want you to make sure that you are aware of, because not only does this new moon land at the 1st degree of Capricorn, 1 degree, which 1 is all about initiation and inspiration. So not only do we have that fresh new energy. The lunation itself also squares Jupiter, which is at 0 degrees Aries. So Jupiter is newly in Aries at the time of this lunation, and Aries can be a very bold energy. It can be very impatient. It can be very impulsive, and it is sort of helpful in some ways and not so helpful in others. Where it is helpful is that it's sort of kicking our Capricorn New Moon ambitions in the butt around like, just do it, right? It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be exact the same time. Do it. If you fall on your face, you'll get up, you'll try again. It's sort of whispering to the new moon, like, you've got this. Just figure it out. Just make it happen. Don't be scared of a challenge, and don't be suffocated by your own visions of success. Don't be stagnated by your own standards, right? Like Capricorn, where they can get bogged down is because they have such high standards, and because they do want so much from themselves. Sometimes there can even be this energy of stagnation where it's like, why even do it if it's not going to be perfect, right? And the square to Jupiter and Aries is like, just do it. You'll learn. You'll fall on your face and you'll get back up. Now, what I want you to be mindful of with this is the square to Jupiter and Aries can be a little too bold, and it's a little too impatient, right? We're getting ahead of ourselves. Like, how I would liken it is, it feels like with the square to Jupiter and Aries, it's this energy where it's like, let's order, like, we're building a house, let's order the roof. We're building a business, let's pitch ourselves to Forbes. It's like, hold on, step by step. Like with the energy in Capricorn, it's very important to move very sequentially. One step, and then the other, and then the other. Don't get ahead of yourself. Now, the square to Jupiter and Aries is going to be like, let's just sprint our way to the top, right? Or if we're building a house, rather than lying down the foundation and building the walls, it's like, let's order the roof, let's order home decor. It's like with this new moon, we need to feel that enthusiasm, because that's helpful sometimes to at least get the project going, right? But we need to strive to slow down, to get one step at a time, because it's important. This isn't my favorite new moon that I've ever worked with in my life, okay? Because with this new moon, I mean, Mercury's in the pre-retrograde shadow, Mars is retrograde, so a lot of the cosmos are kind of asking us to finish off what's already been completed, dial up loose ends, find closure within our world. And this new moon, while it's a welcome burst of energy and inspiration around dreaming and envisioning all that we can be and all that our lives can be, it's a time that the rest of the cosmos is sort of like, hold on, let's just take it one step at a time. Let's attune to these details. Let's finish this off. Let's be smart about where it is that we are putting our energy. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because with the new moon squaring Jupiter, it's like the vibe where it's like, we've ordered this roof, then we figure out that there's issues with the zoning on this particular plot of land. Go slow, attune to the foundations, right? Be rooted in where it is that you are now, while also addressing where it is that you want to go, and moving very sequentially. The square to Jupiter is going to be great for those who have all these ideas, but they feel stuck around, I have such high standards for myself, or I want this so bad, or this would be so lofty that I don't even know where to start. Like that feeling when you just feel suffocated by it. The square to Jupiter is going to be a welcome burst of inspiration around, I can do this, and if this doesn't work out, I'll pivot and go here. Like the energy of Jupiter and Aries is absolutely fortune favors the bold. And here we have both the precision and the practicality of the Capricorn energy with the power and the enthusiasm of Jupiter and Aries, right? And sure, we might fall ascending to the peak of the mountain, right? With a square to Jupiter and Aries. It can be a little impulsive. It could be a little overzealous, but feeling that inspiration, just thinking, at least I'm making progress. At least I'm going to the top. At least I'm figuring out what I am capable of. I'm figuring out my stamina. I'm figuring out how great of a hiker I am. And with the square to Jupiter and Aries, at least it's motivating us to go. We're not at the bottom of the mountain looking up and being like, if I'm here and I want to go there, how do I bridge the gap? That's where Jupiter and Aries comes in, because it's like, come on, we got this. It's like basically, if you have a workout buddy, like Jupiter and Aries is sort of the workout buddy to this lunation, in that it's sort of like pushing the Capricorn new moon, like, you got this, more reps, let's run. Like, don't you guys feel like you get a better workout when you have a workout buddy because you don't want to let them down? That's the vibe. Now, keep in mind, you could be exhausted at the workout and feel like you gave it all in the first 20 minutes because you had your Jupiter and Aries friend, and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to hit glutes. There's simply no way. And that's where the Capricorn Capricorn moons can sort of tether the Jupiter and Aries, being like, okay, that's great that you want to do sprints right now, but maybe let's build our workout a little bit smarter. Let's do it sequentially so that we can make it to the finish line. So where the Capricorn new moon has stamina and it has a plan, the Jupiter in Aries has speed, right? It has courage to be like, let's go lift that 200-pound barbell. Let's go do sprints. Can you do a workout like that going hard the entirety of the time? No, you'll burn yourself out and you'll stop working out in 20 minutes. So you two need to work together, you and the workout buddy. Like you need to be like, hey, let's pace ourselves. Let's have a plan. Let's do glutes and then this. If they can inspire you to go a little bit harder than you typically would, or to go to those machines at the gym that you're typically scared of. But together, you guys are gonna get the best workout of your life, truly. If you can appreciate what one another brings to the table and temper the Jupiter and Aries enthusiasm and the Capricorn's new moon's plan. Affix to the final vision, plot the steps to get there. There's this wild statistic I read the other day about college graduates and how they basically pulled them all to see who had goals and who had a plan. And the largest percentage had no goals and no plan. A smaller percentage had goals, but not a plan. And 3% had goals and a plan. And that 3% out-earned the other percentage, I think like double over. And that really spoke to me in light of this new moon. We have the energy of goals, right? All the enthusiasm and invigoration of Jupiter and Aries, and where it's like, let's do the thing. We've got this. Dream big. We've got it. And the Capricorn new moon is like, well, we need a plan in order to get there. So while this can be a powerful new moon for getting excited about the vision around what it will look like to have what it is that you want, who you will be when you have what it is that you want, and it's this fascinating blend around getting excited about the vision, but also striving to anchor it down. Getting excited about starting, but also understanding that things need to happen step by step. Knowing that you are capable of fulfilling this vision, but also striving not to allow your ego to blow up, right? Like it is a fascinating balance and it can be very powerful when leveraged. Temper the Jupiter and Aries enthusiasm and inspire the Capricorn new moon's plan and stamina. So how would I recommend celebrating this Capricorn new moon? So firstly, it exacts Friday, December 23rd, but do know that the lunation, the new moon energy is active for the next 3 days. So don't feel stressed if you can't do a ritual exactly on the day. Fear not. We still have this energy around fertile new beginnings. As I said, with the earthy energy, it would be very supportive to ground down your intention some way. Take what it is that you want and make it physical. So a vision board would be very powerful, something that you interact with your hands, like cutting things out and planting them. Maybe it's even just physically doing something that is in alignment with your ambition. So it's like you run a business. Maybe the Capricorn new moon is when you plant the seeds around this new stream of income that you want to add to your business, or when it is that you drive around the neighborhood that you want to live one day. Interact with your intentions in a very tangible, physical way during this lunation. And I would definitely say, you know, I love with the Capricorn new moon, this idea of ascending to the top of our abilities. So maybe go on a hike of some sort, look out at the distance. That would also please the Jupiter and Aries, right? So a great time to really embolden your visions. And in this notion of interacting with your intention very, very tangibly, it would also be very supportive around dressing up as the person that you would be if you had everything that you want or had your ambitions or your dreams now. So maybe it's like if you had what it is that you want, you probably wouldn't go to sleep in like ratty sweats every night. You would want to wear the nice PJ set. Maybe you could do that, or wearing the clothes for the job of what it is that you want to do. I'm not saying you have to go break the bank and like buy a ton of stuff, but it can be very powerful to kind of step into that role around feeling that energy of your higher self now, right? Understanding that the path ahead is going to be steep. You might have to work hard. Like the Capricorn energy is very practical and pragmatic about what is necessary to progress, but it can be very powerful to start to tune into that person who's at the top or who has everything that you want. How would they dress? What would they eat for breakfast? What would they do with their day? Interact very physically with that version of yourself, and you can be pulling it closer to you. And with the earth sign, I do love to do earth magic is nice. A lot of places, I know it's very cold and might not be conducive as it relates to planting, but even like a potted plant, when you are potting a plant, infuse your intention into that plant, like think about it, and then picture as you root it down, either within a pot or within your yard, picture that seed of intention being planted in order to germinate, in order to grow. Really think about planting it down. And I love that because with this Capricorn new moon, this is... I didn't say anything. Okay, that was kind of weird. I don't know if you heard that, but my Surrey just went off for no reason and was like, 1 sec. So I feel that was like a little sign from the universe around, we have to wait a sec, right? Like you can't eat the tomatoes the day that you plant the tomato seed. Like you have to plant the seed and allow it to germinate and allow it to grow. Like we do have to be patient during this new moon, which again, Jupiter in Aries isn't crazy about, right? But there is this element of patience around planting the seeds and trusting. And on that note, I want you to have an element of detachment when it comes to your ambitions, to be determined yet detached, okay? Because the energy of Capricorn is like, that is what it is that I want, this is what it is that I'm going to do, but letting go of this energy, this sensation of need. I need this to happen in order for me to prove myself. I need this to happen in order for me to feel worthy. Like letting go of that energy of need, like to be detached. Like if we are obsessing over the plant, over the tomato plant, like checking every day, is it growing? Is it growing? Is it growing? Like that's giving this energy of desperation, right? When it comes to our ambition. Like it's much different to just trust in the process, water it when you can, show up to practically do the work. Like I'm not saying with this Capricorn new moon that business and that career and that family and that relationship is going to show up on your doorstep. Like it is a new moon where it's like, sure about it, but no, you're going to have to work for it. Like with it, it's understanding, yes, I have to work towards it. I have to water the tomato plant. I have to make sure it's getting sun. I have to practically support its growth, but I'm not going to obsess and check, right? It's putting in that energy of scarcity and need. So to be determined about that flourishing tomato plant, those flourishing ambitions, but detached around, I'll be okay if I don't have this, right? And that actually supports the growth. So loves, now that we've gotten familiar with the Capricorn new moon energy and I've given like 3 or 4 analogies, I'm so sorry guys. I just think in analogies, I feel in analogies, I interact with my life in analogies. I apologize if there's been a lot. I just feel like sometimes I can paint a picture a little bit better and allow you to really anchor into this energy. But whichever analogy resonated for you, how can we find out where this fresh start, where this workout, where this planting of a seed, where these heights that we want to climb to, where can we see what is the most fertile within our world? And that's where you'll want to find which house this new moon lands in for you. So there's a couple options. Firstly, you can check below and just find your ascendant sign and just advance that timestamp, and that will be your reading and you are all set. The other option is to find 1 degree Capricorn within Placidus house system. In all transparency, this is the house system I use and that I prefer, but other styles of astrology are absolutely valid. And sometimes I wish I was a whole sign house astrologer because that would be so much easier. But alas, I am not. And if you're still listening to this part, you probably aren't either. So let's dive in. So what you want to do is you want to find your circle chart. For the purpose of the visual that I'm showing you, this is astro.com. So you'll want to find the Capricorn symbol. So once you found Capricorn, you'll want to find the side that is bordering the Sagittarius symbol. That is the red symbol. And when you find where Sagittarius ends and Capricorn begins, that is 0 degrees Capricorn. This lunation lands at 1 degree Capricorn. So you'll know that the new moon lands right about there. So within your chart, you'll want to follow around where that 0 degree Capricorn starts, follow the inner ring and you'll see a little number on the pizza. So in this example, it appears that this new moon lands within the 1st house. Now, if it's very close, let's say you feel like it's in the 1st house, but you're like, maybe it's in the 2nd house, in astro.com, there's a button that says PDF additional tables. Hit that. On the right-hand side, it'll let you know which degree every house begins. So when we check that out, we see that the 2nd house doesn't begin until 3 degrees Capricorn. So because this new moon lands at 1 degrees Capricorn and 1 comes before 3, we know it must fall into the first house, so you would listen to the first house reading. Alternatively, if that confuses you, you can just listen to both readings that Capricorn symbol expands through. So in this example, we see there's some Capricorn within the first house, there's some Capricorn within the second house, so listen to both the first house and the second house reading. So now that we've figured out which life arena this new moon is supporting, let's dive into our house by house analysis. So if this Capricorn new moon lands within the first house, you may potentially be a Capricorn ascendant, not always though. So make sure to listen to the reading of where you have 1 degrees Capricorn. Okay, so for you, there is this fertile new start around how it is that you want to show up, who it is that you want to be. I want you to focus less on your attentions around the what, and I want you to focus on the who, okay? I want you to focus less on, I want this job, and focus in on, I want to be an established leader, right? I want to be someone who walks into a meeting with my head held high and people just respect me. I want to be the sort of individual that commands respect when I go to advocate for this cause in front of Congress, or when I go to pick up my children from school. I want to be the sort of mom that they feel comfortable bringing their friends around. Or when I pick up my kids from school, I want to be the mom where the other kids feel safe coming to my house after school and they want to eat my cookies and stuff. Like, who it is that you would be if you had what it is that you want, okay? And focusing on that version, how would they dress? Honestly, this would be a really aligned time to plant seeds around how it is that you want to express yourself, especially if you have this here. You may potentially also have Venus in the first house, which is always the time that I'm like, get your hair done, buy some new clothes. Like, it's a time when you can really feel glowed up, so to speak. But with this energy of this new moon, it's really about planting the seeds around who it is that you want to be and how it is that you want to express yourself. So certainly aesthetic shifts are supported. I wouldn't say you have to go do anything drastic, but maybe there is a call to plant the seeds around, I want a capsule wardrobe, something time honored, not like Shein fast fashion. Like, I want clothes that represent the self I'm trying to walk into, right? The self I'm trying to portray. And again, with Capricorn, it's things that are very sleek, very sophisticated, stand the test of time. So maybe you're looking at your wardrobe and you're like, this represents who I was in college. It doesn't represent the version of myself who has everything I want. Like, looking at how it is that you are presenting yourself, and this could be a really great time to kind of plant the seeds around the perfect aesthetic that you want to embody on the pursuit of where it is that you want to go. It could be a time to plant the seeds of any sort of like exercise or eating regimen that's going to support you in feeling your best as you get to where it is that you want to go. Be very supported around makeup, anything of that nature, but truly it all boils down to self-identity. So truly, while new moon is favorable as it relates to any intentions around, I want to be perceived as this, I want to feel like this, I want to exude this from my aura, from my being, this is the role I want to play, this is the energy to have people react to me to when I walk into a room. I want to let you know that I don't want you to feel limited to that, because this is the house of self, essentially is very fertile for just about anything that you would want to plant the seeds around. So really dream big, be willing to do the work in order to really show up as that person. Like, this is not a fake it till you make it sort of new moon. Like, just because you buy a blazer doesn't mean that you're automatically the business person, but buying the blazer almost sets this chain reaction where it's like you hold your head a little bit higher, you remember who it is that you're developing to be, and you are more present and more committed towards doing that work to flesh out your potential, to be the version of yourself that you know you have within you. If this Capricorn new moon lands within the second house of your astrological natal chart, you may potentially be a Sagittarius ascendant, or you just have 1 degrees Capricorn within your second house. Either way, this reading is for you. So loves, this is a new moon to have money on your mind and your mind on your money, okay? Because this is the house of money. It goes beyond that, but I do want you to plant the seeds of any financial initiatives of either amount of money that you want to make or possessions that you want to own would be super aligned to hone in on during this new moon. And with the energy in Capricorn, looking at it very sequentially. So even just like forecasting, like, okay, if I invest this amount of money this many times because of compound interest, I could have this much at this age. Like, I would definitely say planting the seeds for things that are time honored financially, planning your business intentions and knowing, okay, it's not gonna happen overnight, but I'm willing to show up for the work in order to secure myself abundance, in order order to secure the bag, so to speak. Like, it is this energy around planting the seeds of what it is that you want financially and how it is that you want to get there, and knowing the road might be steep, but you are willing and able to kind of show up in order to ground down that work. And with it in the second house, if there is any possessions that you desire, this is an aligned time to plant the seeds for it. So that beautiful car that you want, and thinking with the energy in Capricorn, like elevate your standards, like things that can stand the test of time, styles that have stood the test of time, things that just scream like luxury and sophistication. With this Capricorn new moon is a really aligned time to plant into. So perhaps this is a time that you kind of like get your Pinterest board and pin like the furniture that just screams the aesthetic that you want to embody one day. Or maybe it's using it to design the wardrobe that you would love to embody, or the car that you would love to embody. I would love for you to use this new moon and interact with the world, interact with your ambitions. And again, with second house, it's beyond just materialistic concerns, because when we think about second house, it's also about self-esteem. And I want you to observe where you're feeling any sort of story get triggered within you around, could I have this house? Could I justify spending $2,000 on a couch? Could I be someone who owned something this nice, right? And planting the seeds around raising your standards of not only what it is that you spend money on, but like how it is that you treat yourself, how it is that you brand yourself, or how it is that you value yourself. Maybe you're someone where it's like, when it comes to finances, again, frugality is a beautiful thing. Being mindful with your money is a great thing. But maybe you're someone who's like, you're so wanting to pinch pennies that you never splurge for the higher price thing. This can be a new moon around, I really just want to elevate my belongings, right? Because oftentimes, like, you do get what you pay for. You can go through like a really cheaply made spatula like once a year, or splurge for the more expensive one that lasts. Like, this is the energy. It's about grounding down and inviting in possessions that can stand the test of time, that you look at it and they spark joy, right? It feels like something that's representative of your ambitions, right? Of what it is that you want within your world. Like, there are certain things that I've bought that I look at, and every time I look at it, I just feel so happy. Again, life is so much more than just material pursuits, but my gosh, it does feel good. Like, I got this really amazing silk pajama set. When I tell you I go to bed every night feeling like a queen, like a purchase like that, something that feels like it represents the person that you are, because that makes me feel luxurious. It makes me feel like a boss businesswoman at the end of the day, like changing from my like clothes to my pajamas. It just makes me feel nurtured and cared for. Like, planting the seeds to invite in more possessions like that, which, yes, maybe a higher standard. Like with Capricorn there, it's definitely a time to, you know, be a little bougie, but also knowing that you are worthy of that. And maybe you're someone where your financial situation isn't that great right now. It's hard to envision where it is that we can be when we are kind of struggling in that way. And with the energy of Capricorn new moon, it's about practically anchoring how it is that you are going to ascend to the financial heights that you are capable of. So grounding down, understanding and honoring where you are now is not where you want to be, but setting your gaze upon, as soon as I get a job, I'm going to build up my savings, I'm going to build up my investing, having a financial plan, or at least having something where you feel that momentum is building in a positive direction. And anchoring in those financial goals, like whether it's, I want this amount of money in my bank account, I want this much in savings, I want to be able to invest this much, I want to be able to buy myself a designer bag, whatever it is, like, you will know what kind of stirs to you and what calls to you. I just want to share a quick anecdote. When I was in college, I remember thinking, I think I even wrote it down. I think I tweeted it, which is so embarrassing, oh my gosh, but I think I tweeted, I was like, I'll know that I have brought enough money into my world when I can't afford running shoes and to go to yoga. That was all I wanted. I was like, as soon as I have those, I don't need any more money. Like, that's all I need. Like, obviously, as soon as I got those things, and there's other possessions that I want, right? Like, that is the energy of Capricorn. I always joke that Capricorn kind of has moritis. As soon as they achieve one goal, it's like, okay, what's the next? Or it's like, what's more, right? But I remember thinking, as soon as I have that, I'll know that I'm able to bring money into my existence. I'll know that I'm able to manifest money, because I was just trying to survive, right? So I couldn't even justify spending money on running shoes. Like, that just felt like such a splurge. And how cool that I got to a space where it was like dropping $40 on running shoes isn't like the difference between me eating or not. Like, I don't know. It's cool to have those little benchmarks at different areas of your life. So then when you meet them, you have the element of pride around, wow, I did this, before you just set your sights on the next thing and the next thing. So even going back and having gratitude for what it is that you've brought into existence that you used to want, the things that you have that you used to want, while setting your sights, because that is the purpose of being alive, is this continual process of desire and acquisition and who it is that we become as we ascend to those levels. Because with new moon in second house, this can be very aligned for planting the seeds around how it is that you want to value yourself, how it is that you want to confidently project yourself is also very supportive for this new moon. So planting the seeds around, I want to elevate my standards, right? I want to walk into financial negotiations and know that I am worthy of acquiring a higher salary. Like, elevate your standards both financially, but also in how you value yourself truly and your efforts. So if the Capricorn new moon lands within the third house of your astrological natal chart, you may be a Scorpio ascendant, or you just have 1 degree Capricorn within your third house. Either way, this reading is for you. So you are planting the seeds around how it is that you want to communicate and really leveling up your life by leveling up your mind. And here's what I mean. If you are someone where you talk down to yourself quite a bit, like you're like, yeah, well, I would if I could, or yeah, well, that just happens to other people, not me. Like, this is asking you to live out your intentions by how it is that you communicate about them, to be the sort of individual who is confident and expresses it as such, who has confidence in your ideas, confidence in speaking your truth as well. So if you've been someone where it's like you are constantly talking yourself down via your mind, like with this new moon squaring Jupiter, it's saying like, gas yourself up. Like, you need to be your biggest cheerleader to get to the top. Like, you cannot be ascending to the top of the mountain, doubting yourself and being harsh on yourself every step of the way. Like, this is a new moon that's asking you to hype yourself up on your journey up the mountain, on your journey to your ambitions. Now, for some of you, there is a strong call around spreading the word and being more communicative in order to get your ambitions. So let's say you own your own business, but you're not always comfortable sharing about it or investing time in social media. This is a really aligned time to ground down your marketing strategy around, for me to get to where I want to go with this Capricorn new moon, I need to tell people about it, right? I need to overcome any negative self-talk, hype myself up, and spread the word. Have enough confidence in what it is that I do that I feel comfortable sharing. So for some of you, this can be timed with wanting to share more on social media. Start a podcast, start a blog. If people still do that, not sure, but if you want to do that, feel free. This is a powerful new moon for it. Dial in your social media marketing, your online presence. Like, this is very aligned around spreading the word about your business, or maybe you just want to start documenting your life. This is all about how it is that we share and planting the seeds for it. And for some of you at a personal level, this is a call to start advocating for yourself, okay? Because this is a Saturn-ruled lunation. So some of you need to have boundaries. Some of you need to lay down the law with your words. Some of you have to get comfortable saying no with the square to Jupiter, or asking for what it is that you want. Like, Capricorn energy is asking us to level up, and you are being asked to level up via your communication, via asking for what it is that you know that you deserve, or setting the boundaries that you know that you need to thrive. This is also aligned as it relates to planting the seeds for any sort of skill, like those things where you're like, okay, one day I will learn piano, or one day I will invest in learning that language. Just a time to plant the seeds down now. Know that it'll be an arduous journey, like the energy is in Capricorn, but also know that you are worthy of having what it is that you are desire. You are worthy of fleshing out these intentions and these desires and leveling up your mind, your marketing strategy. For some of you, there can be a call around sales, planting the seeds to get more comfortable with sales, planting the seeds around getting more comfortable spreading the word, and being more okay with rejection, like not allowing rejection to make you spiral and freak out, but understanding with this new moon, it's like understanding, for me to get to where it is that I want to go, the road to success is peppered with no's, right? And the most successful people have learned to fail, and they fail fast and they fail often. And this is a new moon where it's allowing yourself to rebound a little quicker from no's or rejections or bad feedback, right? With the square to Jupiter, it's about learning to make your mind a supportive place on your ascent and on your pursuit to what it is that you want. Maybe you can plant the seeds for certain habits that can be helpful for your mental state or for how it is that you process your reality. So if the Capricorn new moon lands within the 4th house of your astrological natal chart, you may potentially be a Libra ascendant, not always though. You may simply just have 1 degree Capricorn in your 4th house. Either way, this message is for you. So for you, you are planting the seeds as it relates to a very private component of your life and of your world. So you are planting the seeds as it relates to your home environment, okay? And this has the potentiality to expand in a lot of different directions. So I want you to take what it is that I say, what it is that makes your heart lift, like find those little cues that make you feel like, okay, that is definitely a theme, because there's a lot of different manifestations for this house. So take which messages are for you and leave the rest. So firstly, some of you are planting the seeds around a new residence. And this is very aligned when we consider the Capricorn themes of this chart are all about structures and boundaries and construction. So I do want to say with this Capricorn new moon, very aligned to really set your sights around the environment that you would want to live in. So have that dream house on a vision board, drive by that neighborhood that you want to live in. Grounding down into where it is that you are currently, the environment, what would feel like success? What kind of home would feel like success to you? What would be the vibe when you walk in? What would be the color palette? What would be the view outside your window? Dialing into those themes around, that is the version of myself who has everything that I want. That is the environment they would come home to. And within Capricorn, like be realistic. Like we can't all have, mansions. Maybe you do want one, but really seek to capture the essence of what it is that you're looking for in that home environment, what success would feel like. And for some of you, outside of just buying, because I know right now it's kind of a crazy time it's kind of a wild time to buy, there also could be a call to just move, like to be in an environment that really feels representative of not just who you are now, but also who it is that you want to be. And I want to highlight, it's not the time I would like physically put in the offer, more so plant the seeds, because Mercury may or may not also be retrograde within this sector of your chart. It stations retrograde a couple days after this new moon. So it's not the time that I would say all systems ahead for doing all the things, signing all the documents and moving into that new house. Like that's not necessarily what I'm saying. But what I am saying is start to get yourself familiar with the vision. Start to dial into what would the ideal place that I live in that is up to my standards, what would it look like and feel like? Maybe some of you love where you live. This new moon would be planting the seeds around, is my home decor representative of my ambitions and the standard by which I hold myself? What would be some shifts to represent that? Maybe it's planting the seeds for a new home renovation project, so on and so forth. Now, another dimension of this is family. So, okay, this is what I mean when I'm saying it won't be a message for everybody. Some of you are having to set boundaries with a family member, and that is where this new moon is activating your chart. Like you are being asked to plant the seeds around having firmer boundaries, believing in yourself enough to set these boundaries, because a lot of you, not all, but a lot of you who have this will be Libra ascendants, and you guys have been tasked with being the peacemaker of making sure that everybody is happy. And because of that, you could have been swallowing and just being the helpful one, being the responsible one, or being the one who takes everybody else's stuff. And this is a new moon about like kind of taking your power back and calling back your power as a human being outside of what it is that you do for others. So some of you, it's about planting the seeds around family. Some of you could be planting the seeds around healing, any sort of connection around family. And some of you are really just planting the seeds for a more sustainable emotional state. Because I'll be forthright, the energy of Capricorn, it's not like joyous and happy, right? It's practical, it's a little measured, it's a little stark. And with this Capricorn new moon, it's really around planting these seeds around how it is that you can show up for yourself consistently, emotionally. So maybe you have to have certain boundaries with certain people within your world. That definitely feels to be the case because this is squaring Jupiter, which is most likely in your 7th house. That can be a very aligned time as it relates to relationships and opening up and being open to new people. But when you allow more people in, you have to be a little bit more stricter to ensure you're also showing up for yourself, right? And so this Capricorn new moon is kind of asking for boundaries, and it's also asking, what are your rules, okay? Like what are your rules that you need to do for your emotional health? Like I'll just share like my rule, and I devote myself to being as committed towards this as I would any other meeting with anybody else, is I must walk every single day. Like I know if I do not go for a walk every single day, I begin to lose my mind, okay? And there's oftentimes there's so much other stuff that I should be doing, but that is my rule because I know that my mental health suffers if I don't abide by that rule, if I don't have that boundary with myself. Because oftentimes boundaries, outside of the ones that we leave with others, we also have to have them with ourselves, right? So I want you to consider what is going to sustainably support my emotional health. And what are some rules and boundaries that I need to enact in order to give that to me? And for some of you who live with roommates, that could also be a call around boundaries, a call around envisioning together, like, hey, if we want our living environment to be like this, what are the shifts we need to make now in order to get there? So if this Capricorn new moon lands within the 5th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. You may potentially be a Virgo ascendant, or you just have 1 degree Capricorn within your 5th house. My love, my love, my love. This is a call to plant the seeds around turning what it is that you want into something that you work at. And listen up, because a lot of you who have Capricorn within your 5th house, it is part of your chart's destiny to do something that you love, that's 5th house, for work, for outside prestige. That's the energy of Capricorn. And so a lot of you already do this. In fact, a lot of times when I meet with individuals who have this, I'm like, the challenge is for you to like something without monetizing it or making it serious right away. But for a lot of you, it's about planting the seeds around finding more joy within the act of living, within the act of building. For some of you, I'm tuning into this message that you haven't really been appreciating some elements of what's in your existence. Like, I really want you to reframe from I have to do this to I get to do this. And I know it's not easy, particularly if you're in a role currently that you do not like while you're trying to build up your, side hustle or your side business or your passion or something of the nature. For some of you, it's been a little blah. I mean, if you have this here, you most likely have Mars retrograde within the 10th house. So you've been a little blah, things have felt harder, there's been some resistance, and there really is a mindset shift that you're being asked to dial into to understand what it is that you're working for when it is you used to want that, right? And also finding the joy and the pleasure in ascending to the peak of your own potential, okay? Like for some of you, you might be at a job that you don't necessarily love. There might be elements of like, okay, well, I enjoy this and I used to really want this promotion and now I'm here, or I really enjoy my lunch breaks walking in the garden, like finding those little bits of joy and pleasure within the pursuit of achieving what it is that you want. Like a lot of you have been kind of like impatient, but also just frustrated at the lack of progress. And you're forgetting that you will appreciate the stage of life that you are in right now. Like you may not be conscious of it. Like you might be right now kind of just looking at what it is that you're building through this lens around not good enough. It needs to be better in these ways. But trust me, there will be certain parts of your world right now, the simplicity, the joy of building it, that you will look back on with an element of nostalgia. And if you're more so feeling this as it relates to like, if you're building like a side hustle or like a passion of something that you want to build a business in, or maybe just something that you want to build bigger, like a passion that you kind of want to build a life around, remember the passion of it. Like that is what this new moon is about, is finding that joy and that passion within the act of building. Because I'm telling you right now, that happiness, that vitality that you are looking for is not waiting for you once you succeed in this endeavor. I know it feels like it would, but it won't. And as soon as you succeed in one way, a brand new goal shows up that you feel this tendency to want to climb. So you better enjoy the climb, because you'll always be climbing. We'll never be 100% satisfied. That's the purpose of being alive. And just on this note, I just remember when I was working my 9 to 5, I was teaching yoga and I was trying to build my astrology business. And it was just, I mean, if you're working while building a business, it's a lot. I mean, it's exhausting. Like I would be up really early working on chart readings. I would go to work 9 to 5. And then that evening I would go and teach yoga. I would teach yoga until 9 p.m., eat, do it all over again. Like it was exhausting. I look back at it with joy and gratitude in my heart because I was doing what I loved. I was exhausted doing it, but I was feeling the exciting momentum around doing something that I loved and being able to build it up. And I do have so much appreciation for that girl and who she was and like the sacrifices that she made. In no way am I saying I've made it, quote unquote, but I'm further than I was then. And I appreciate that I was able to still find the joy in what it was that I was building, because this is the challenge of having Capricorn in the 5th house, is that passion does change when you monetize it or when you make it more serious, right? So for some of you, whether you've monetized your passion or not, maybe it's not even about monetization. Maybe it's just devoting more time to your passion. It does change when you you exert more discipline around it, it changes. It goes from this really just kind of playful thing within your life to something that you have to be a little bit more disciplined about, and you have to be more structured about it. I still love astrology, but my relationship to it has changed quite a bit because I do now work entirely within astrology. And so for some, this Capricorn new moon is around planting the seeds, around enjoying the process of ascending to the top of your passion. So outside of even the monetization effort, maybe you're just wanting to be the best piano player that you can be, slowing yourself down, not getting ahead of yourself around feeling like you have to compete and be the absolute best right away, like enjoying the process of getting better. Like that's the thing about Capricorn. It has such high ambitions that there could be an energy around, well, if I'm not there, then I'm a loser, right? Or if I'm not there, then what's even the point? Enjoy the process. Find the joy now. And for some of you, the message is more so around just finding more joy in daily living. Could absolutely be a fifth house theme. Infusing more creativity into your world. Some of you are being asked to kind of elevate your hobbies and what it is that you use to spend your free time. So for some of you, like, partying or gambling or anything that you're using to kind of spend your hours, if it hasn't been really helping you build the version of yourself that you want to build, this is the time to plant the seeds around the hobbies and the free time activities that the higher version of yourself who has everything that you want would do. So like on a weekend, would the version of you who's a CEO still be going to the dive bar? Like maybe, no judgment if so, but would they instead be using their weekends to garden and go to the farmer's market? Like how would they spend their time? And what activities do you have where you're not getting an ROI, a return on your investment of time, where it's like, yeah, I just partied and hung out with these people and the time went by and I felt empty and drained. Like it's not a people house, but it is a fun house. So it's asking you to look at the fun activities within your world and what you're getting from it, right? Some of you, if you've been trying to conceive, very excellent time to plant the seeds around trying to conceive. It might be a more frustrating or long process with the energy in Capricorn, but staying committed to the long term and planting the seeds for it now. And also when it relates to romance, also very aligned to plant the seeds for Capricorn like love affairs. So maybe planting the seeds for someone who's older, someone who's a little bit more mature, someone who's a little bit more experienced, someone where your connection can really stand the test of time, right? If the Capricorn new moon lands within the 6th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. You may potentially be a Leo ascendant, or you just have 1 degree Capricorn within your 6th house. Either way, this reading is for you. So your call is to elevate the standards of your daily living, okay, love? So truly, some of you are getting a call to elevate your diet and exercise routine, okay? So if there are like certain things where every time you eat spicy food, your tummy does not feel so good, or like every time you drink milk, you feel more puffy. Like I'm talking about those aspects of eating where you have to have more boundaries around it. Like this is a Saturn ruled new moon, so it can be very aligned to plant the seeds around, okay, I know I don't feel good without dairy, I'm going to drink almond milk in my coffee, because the intention isn't deprivation, but the intention is to support your body to be and run the best that it possibly can, right? And for some of you, if there's some boundaries, it's like, cheese, I love you, why can't I eat you? Like this is the time to plant the seeds around, I'm just simply not someone who thrives with much cheese like within their diet. And for some of you, there can be a call to start exercising, or truly with Mercury in its shadow, there might be a call to return back to an exercise routine you loved. Remember when I used to jog all the time? Remember when I used to dance? Like this is a really aligned time to plant those seeds around moving your body and promoting health in a way that does invigorate your confidence with the square to Jupiter. Something that makes you feel good about yourself and makes your daily living environment better. Like I'm really feeling that for some of you, the more time and energy that you spend exercising, the more efficiently you will reach your ambitions, okay? There's something about exercising, moving your body that is supercharging your life force and is going to help you. Keep in mind, the energy is in Capricorn, so it might still be an arduous climb, but I'm deeply feeling into this energy that with the square to Jupiter, every hour that you invest in your body, like you are getting into a more magnetic, more abundant state in which you can attract your ambitions a little bit more seamlessly. Again, still work for them, but have the journey be a little bit more pleasant on the ascent. Now, outside of the health themes, some of you can be planting the seeds for a new pet. I know, random, but a random manifestation of 6th house. Some of you are planting the seeds around having better boundaries when it comes to work, okay? Like I'm feeling that some of you take on whatever project because you want to be helpful, but there can be a call where it's like for you to be the boss and level up as the boss and level up in terms of like leadership, you can't be the workhorse. Like you can't be taking on every little project. So maybe it's just sort of planting the seeds around a different sort of vibe or energy that you're bringing into the workplace, where it's like you're volunteering for more like leadership projects. You're volunteering to learn that new skill set that would be helpful if you got that promotion you desire. Like there is an energy with the Saturn ruled new moon. It can be helpful to plant the seeds around, no, I can't take on that project for you, Lydia. That is your project and you took credit for me last time, like those boundaries, but also kind of leveling up in regards to your workday on taking on projects that are in alignment to your ambitions. I'll be forthright. Let's say if you were not happy where you were working, this can be very aligned to plant the seeds around a new job. I will say Mercury is in pre-retrograde shadow, so maybe, and it is the holidays at the time of this new moon, so maybe wait a little bit before applying if it is a brand new industry, brand new job, but it is really aligned to plant the seeds around your ideal day. So like these are the projects that I would feel in alignment with. This is my ideal day. And super aligned when it comes to planting the seeds of any routine that you want to integrate, okay, to level up. Like you know that you feel that you are in a more confident, more embodied energy when you meditate in the morning or take cold showers or whatever the hustle and grind entrepreneurs are always saying. It doesn't need to be that. Maybe it's just like walking after work. Maybe it's calling your mom more. It's any shift that you want to make within your day-to-day that helps you to really live out the higher version of yourself, okay? Those lofty ambitions you have, those big picture goals that you have, it all comes down to the little ways and the little habits that you integrate within your day-to-day. Random, some of you need to get your dental health on point, okay? Or your bone health on point, like vitamins, flossing, anything that you can use to support your bones and your teeth. Saturn ruled lunation in your 6th house of health. So this could also be a really aligned time to plant the seeds around taking the vitamins that you used to take for your bone health, or seeking help for your osteoporosis, or supporting your teeth health. With the energy in Capricorn, it's about facing reality. Let's be forthright, 6th house isn't the most exciting house always. It's about health, it's about day-to-day, it's about service, it's about work. It's not always fun, but this is a new moon that's reminding you that those dreams that you have, that ambition of that person that you want to be, right? That CEO or that mom that you want to be, it comes down to how it is that we spend our days. Are your days reflective of your ambitions, of where it is that you want to go? The new moon is a time to plant the seeds around your daily routine, habits, and those little ways that is supporting the big picture of what it is that you are working towards. So loves, if the Capricorn new moon, December 23rd, lands within the 7th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. You may potentially be a Cancer ascendant, or you just have 1 degree Capricorn within your 7th house. Either way, let's get into what new start is the most fertile within your world. So for you, you are planting the seeds around relationships that truly reflect your standards, okay? The standards that you have for yourself and the standards that you have for your life. Some of you can be having a call to elevate your standards, to be quite honest. I mean, Mercury will be stationing retrograde in a couple of days after this new moon. And for many of you, it will transit your 7th house as well. So there is kind of a focus on your relationships and where it is that you are sort of bending down to meet them where they're at, rather than have them elevate to meet you where you are at, okay? So I want you to observe that. And I highlighted the Mercury thing because some of you, not all, again, you'll want to check out that video, but for some of you, you can be reviewing and reflecting on the past, and perhaps for some of you, where it is that you have lowered your standards. And essentially, this is a new moon around, I'm not lowering my standards any longer. Like, you can meet me where I'm at, or GTFO. And maybe within your existing connection, this is planting the seeds around, love, we have these ambitions. How can we support one another? How can we grow together, right? How can we support one another as we ascend to the peak of both of our abilities? The energy of Capricorn is about building, is about ascending, and within in the 7th house, it's really around where is it that we want to go and how is our relationship supporting that? And also clocking if there is any like toxic or unhealthy patterns that you guys have within your connection, and really observing that and seeking to grow above it, right? Seeking to also have any boundaries within your relationship. Maybe it's like, love, maybe it's like expressing to your partner, hey, I love you, I love what we're building, but like for me to be able to do what I need to do, I need you to not come over to my house until I'm done with work, or whatever rules, lines in the sand that you need to draw in order to support the both of you in ascending to the heights of your ability. And let's say you are single, this is very aligned to kind of plant the seeds of the sort of relationship that you want to call in. And I'm talking longevity. Like I'm talking the sort of person that you want to have as your life partner, right? Like the ambitions of what it is that you want and how your partner will support you within that. Now, outside of romantic dimensions, it's also business partnerships. So this can be really aligned to plant the seeds around aligned clients you want to invite in, and time to plant the seeds for a certain business partner that you want to call in, certain contracts you want to call in, very aligned, as well as just planting the seeds around just the boundaries you need to exert. Not everybody, but a lot of you will be Cancer ascendants. And my love, we adore you for your heart-centered, nurturing energy, but givers have to have limits because takers have none. Like this is the energy where you're being called to kind of draw a line in the sand around, I can support you, but in these ways. I'm like drawing those standards around, this is behavior that I will not stand for. This is behavior that I will not accept. My standards are here. You can either meet me here or GTFO, okay? And also your standards for relationships are here or GTFO. You need to treat me like this or GTFO. Like that is the vibe with the new moon. Identifying the standards that you hold for the individuals within your life, and also making it clear that like you can revoke access of yourself to individuals who will not meet you to the standards that you hold, okay? So this is a time to up-level your standards. Notice where it is that other people are trying to yank on them or bring them down, and just commit yourself to maintaining them. Also, for some of you with the square to Jupiter within the 10th house of career, there's almost this clash between this is what I want career-wise and this is what my partner wants me to be, or this is what I feel like I would have to give up about my ambitions in order to maintain a relationship. Or maybe your partner's ambitions are getting in the way of your guys's, your guys's closeness. This is a time to kind of plant the seeds around, okay, let's build a connection, but let's also build a connection that honors our working world, that honors what it is that we want to give to this planet, to this existence. So if this new moon lands within the 8th house of your astrological natal chart, you may potentially be a Gemini ascendant, but not always. So listen to the reading of where you have 1 degree Capricorn. You are being asked to surrender to a deeper level of trust within your marriage, within your business partnership, within the universe, within life itself. Like 8th house is where things get murky, right? And so there's a couple of different dimensions that I want to bring to the surface. First being with this is really aligned for you if you are married, for you and your partner to kind of set your sights upon, okay, this is where we want to be financially, this is our ambitions, because this essentially rules shared income that you guys have together. Some of you, there can be a spotlight on essentially boundaries or standards that the two of you need to have when it comes to your merge income around, do we check with one another over certain purchases? How fluid is our communication over what it is that we need in order to fuel our ambitions or fuel what it is that we want? And honestly, with this new moon squaring Jupiter in the 11th, there can be an energy where you're trying to compete with friends or the Joneses or society in general. If there's been any spending kind of ramping up in this desire to be at every social outing or compete in this way, this is a new moon to kind of plant the seeds around, okay, let's ensure we're on the same page, we're building in the right direction. And for some of you, you might not be married, but there's other potentialities for this. This is going to be a little dismal, but this can be very aligned to kind of plant the seeds around end-of-life plans, honestly, afterlife plans. With the energy in Capricorn is sort of time-honored, as well as some of you could have a call around wanting to learn a really time-honored modality to spiritually sort of connect that grants you a sense of peace within the bigger picture. Some of you can be planting the seeds around alleviating debt, planting the seeds around passive income. Again, think long term with the energy of Capricorn, okay? Compound interest is your friend, my love. Having a plan for your debt, I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but this is a new moon that asks you, have your plan, see that finish line around being debt-free, and plot the steps that are needed in order to get there, right? Capricorn energy asks us to be very forthright and very practical about our ambitions, and hear about your ambitions as it relates to 8th house themes, which do have a financial component. More so financial components as it relates to inheritances, child support, alimony, which also can be a time of planting the seeds for, let's say your child support agreement hasn't been necessarily fair. You guys will have Mercury also retrograde in the sector, most likely. So there can be a call to review. And also with new moon in the 8th house, it's also asking you to kind of trust and surrender in the universe and allowing yourself to feel supported, whether it's feeling supported by loved ones or feeling supported by the universe. With the new moon planet here, yes, the Capricorn energy may be grounded, it may be realistic, but with the energy in 8th house, it's asking, how supported do you feel by the universe? How can you allow yourself to feel supported as you build your ambitions, as you build your intentions, okay? So the most aligned new moon intentions at this time, or planting the seeds around unexpected streams of income, unexpected streams of support, unexpected streams of like knowledge and wisdom from the other side, honestly within in the 8th house, planting seeds for things about your life that you want to be baked into your legacy, what it is that you want to be remembered by. So maybe planting the seeds around, I want to be someone who is remembered for my tireless work in climate change, or for my art, or whatever it is that you want to be remembered by. Capricorn has to do with longevity, and 8th house is legacy. So also super aligned to plant the intentions there. So if the Capricorn new moon lands within the 9th house of your astrological natal chart, you may potentially be a Taurus ascendant, not always though. So make sure to listen to a reading of where you have 1 degree Capricorn. So love, the most fertile intentions at this time are intentions around faith, higher learning, spirituality, and travel. So let's build this out. So firstly, my loves, if you've wanted to travel somewhere, this is the time to plant the seeds for it. It's not to say you need to book the trip, but I would definitely pin something on Pinterest. I would definitely plan out the trip or plan out the budgeting for the trip. Put some energy towards bringing that intention to manifest. Again, with energy in Capricorn, it's going to take hard work, but it's going to be worth it, right? I'm talking that luxurious, bougie, high-end trip of a lifetime. Like that's what you're planting the seeds for, and sort of like preparing, right? For some of you, there can be ambitions that you have that take higher learning to get there. So this would be really aligned around, I really want to be a lawyer, but in order to do that, I have to go to law school, and it just feels so overwhelming. Like this new moon with it squaring Jupiter, it's giving you this rush of enthusiasm around, let's just start, let's take the bar. Okay, if we fail, we'll try again. Let's apply to these, reach law schools. Like it's supercharging you with motivation around, I have this desire to be a lawyer. I know school is necessary to get there, and it's emboldening you with the enthusiasm, initiative, and motivation in order to start, in order to pursue that education, that schooling, and that ambition that you are craving. Some of you, there's a call to deepen your connection to your intuition. And with the energy in Capricorn, you might be really called to want to build off like a time-honored tradition, want to learn a modality that you can get better at to ascend to the height of your ability, to be able to have faith in yourself, develop a higher trust to your intuition. Like with this energy in Capricorn, and you may potentially be a Taurus rising, you may really want to build something kind of slowly, steadily, like really want to ensure that you are entering spirituality through a really solid understanding of the basics. So for some of you, you can planting seeds around a class you want to take. Spirituality, astrology, tarot, anything of that nature would be a 9th house theme. And also 9th house has to do with religion as well. So for some of you, you can believe planting seeds around, I want to believe in something, right? I want to go back to church. Like that was so supportive for my overall worldview. Like 9th house is the house of faith. So it's like, what gives us some faith in the big picture and supercharging it? Yes, you might have a more grounded, practical approach, which is energy in Capricorn. It may make more time to ensure your faith is built to last and built steadily, but it is absolutely worth it. If the Capricorn new moon lands within the 10th house of your astrological natal chart, you may potentially be an Aries ascendant, but not always. So make sure to listen to a reading of where you have 1 degree Capricorn. So loves, this is the time to plant the seeds for your career goals. And I'm not talking, yeah, it would be cool to do this. Like I'm talking what you've always wanted to do, what you're willing to work towards, right? Like rather than, dreaming about, well, I would like to work at a fashion house. What's the deeper ambition under there? Is it wanting to work as the designer rather than just the fashion house? Like I'm talking that ambition, something where you are showing up as the highest leader possible, where you are showing up as ascending to the height of your ability, it's going to take hard work. Like, this is not a new moon where it's like planting the seeds and it's going to be easy, but this is very fertile to plant those seeds towards those ambitions that you have, planting the seeds towards that promotion at work that you are craving, planting the seeds around improved relationships, or for some of you, improved boundaries as it relates to a boss or an authority figure is very fertile here. And with this new moon, especially in the 10th house, it's asking you, how is it that you want to be perceived within the public eye? Okay, so if you have a business, let's say when you think about it, you're like, I just want this business to be really successful. This is a really powerful time to dial into brand identity and all of the directions that you want to go, how you want people to feel about your content or your product, how it is that you interact with the public, right? What feelings you want to elicit when people interact with your brand, what words people would attribute to the way in which you show up within the public eye. That's a powerful time to kind of anchor that in. And for some of you, on the note of boundaries, this is Saturn ruled lunation. So some of you are going to be asked to start showing up as a boss. Okay, and that's not always easy, especially if you're working for someone who is very overbearing or demanding. With the Capricorn new moon, it's asking for some boundaries when appropriate in order to build to the heights of our ability. To be a little selfish, honestly. This lunation does square Jupiter, which most likely is in your first house. So there is a call with this lunation around, if you want to get this promotion, you need to set boundaries around not just fetching coffee for the associate every single day and making sure that you are in the important meetings. Like, not saying being rude, I'm not saying being rude, but this is a lunation when it's like, this is a time to be visible, to put yourself out there, particularly put yourself in the pathway of your success. I want you to see the vision around, if I got this promotion and then I could leverage myself here and then I could change to this position. Like, I want you to see the pathway and build your career within that pathway. Some of you may not be in the industry you want to be in. You're like, Haley Comet, my ambition is an entirely different arena. This is the new moon to feel all those feelings around, could I do it? Am I capable? And do it anyway. Plant the seed anyway. Like, you're getting supercharged with the square to Jupiter and Aries, which is saying you have this ambition for a reason. You are meant to step up as a leader. And this is the new moon to plant the seeds around how it is that you want to interact with the public and the person that you will be as the most actualized leader version of yourself. Now, for some of you, you may not work or may not be interested in working. There's also a call here around planting the seeds around how it is that you want to be perceived, like within the public eye, your legacy, anything of that nature. So if this Capricorn new moon lands within the 11th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. You may potentially be a Pisces ascendant, not always though, so make sure to listen to the reading of wherever you have 1 degree Capricorn. Okay, so this new moon is very aligned when it comes to calling in the friendship groups, the associates, and the colleagues that would feel representative and reflective of your ambitions, okay? A lot of you who have this will be Pisces ascendants. I know not all, but if you're a Pisces ascendant, I want you to know you do have a gift when it comes to shape-shifting, where you can get along with a lot of different types of people. Like I always joke, I'm like, Pisces ascendants can go to the motorcycle dive bar at 2 o'clock and the gala at 5 p.m. and blend in both places. It's the most magical thing. And with that, that's beautiful, but there can be a vibe at times when you are so shape-shifting that you're taking on some of these tendencies, and maybe some of these groups of people or the people that you spend time with or the online communities that you've been spending time with, maybe they're not truly representative and reflective of your ambitions and the person that you can be and the heights that you want to climb, right? With this new moon, it's very aligned around planting the seeds around the friendship group that you want to cultivate, appreciating the ones who already are in existence, but also appreciating the friendship group where it's like, instead of gossiping about other people, you're dreaming up new business ideas or new business strategies. I mean, a little gossip never hurt anybody, but I really want you to be conscious around, if you were to take the 5 people that you spend the most time with, what would it say about you, right? And I'm not saying dump all your friends if they're not on the same career path as you, but notice which friendships bring the best out of you and which bring out the worst, which feel like you're building in a solid direction and which do not, right? With this new moon, I really want you to be conscious and to plant the seeds around, I would love to have friends who supported this business endeavor of mine or had this similar hobby of some sort. Really aligned to appreciate those friends that are already in existence. With the energy in Capricorn, it's like time-honored for lifers, right? People where you can grow together. Like, I just want you to be conscious around putting energy towards friendships that you feel like you can grow in. Again, doesn't need to be business related, but just friendships where you feel like we support each other then, and we support each other now, and we are growing together, and they encourage me to be the best version of myself. They encourage me to raise my standards, not lower them, right? And so for some of you, you can plant seeds at this time for social media success. You can find that you can plant the seeds to go viral. And furthermore, rather than virality, which is really just a flash in the pan, I want you to focus upon the why, or what that would help around. I want to go viral to get my art out there, to get my business out there, or to be able to promote this cause, right? Like staying focused on the goal or the ambition, the why of it, right? Creating the plan towards it. I also want you to plant seeds around what it is that you want for all of us collectively. Like 11th house is the house of the future. So you can really plant the seeds around, I want to live in a world, like I want to raise the standards of what it is that we expect in this world, right? I want to live in a world where there is no litter on the ground, or that we are all respected, or we all have a way to succeed in capitalism, however it is. Like with this new moon, it can be really aligned to understand, okay, it's been going to be an arduous journey for us to get into a world where it's not so massively unfair. It's going to take a lot of hard work for us to get to that version of reality, but being willing to root down and practically build that legacy or build that initiative, right? Step by step is the vibe with Capricorn. And truly, you kind of have a free spot with this new moon, as 11th house is the house of hopes and dreams. So really, my loves, you can plant down anything beyond even just the themes I've talked about, but just know that with 11th house, it's all about what is it that I want for my personal future and our collective future? Who is it that I want to be surrounded by that will support that ambition? And how is it that I will step up? Because 11th house is large audiences, which is why I was supportive for social media growth. But I also want to highlight could be helpful as it relates to any sort of, like, if you want to call in a public speaking gig or anything where you are able to show up and be visible as it relates to lots of people, this can also be very supportive. If the Capricorn new moon lands within the 12th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. You may potentially be an Aquarius ascendant, but not always. So make sure to listen to the reading of where you have 1 degree Capricorn. Okay, love. So this new moon is asking you to get real, get honest, and get supportive as it relates to your subconscious script, okay? Because a lot of you, not all, but most of you will have either Capricorn ascendant or Aquarius ascendant, even if you use Placidus. And that means that you're ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is very realistic, it's very pragmatic, but sometimes to the point of pessimism. And again, there's lots of beauty within being ruled by Saturn. Like, you age like fine wine. Literally, you just get better with time. Like, time is on your side in every facet of the word, but there is a vibe where you almost look out at the world and just see Saturn. It's hard for you sometimes to dream or to even believe in yourself because you are so hard on yourself. And this is a new moon to plant the seeds around being your own biggest cheerleader. And I know you just rolled your eyes at me for saying that, but seriously, like with this square to Jupiter, it's asking you, like, are you hyping yourself up as you pursue what it is that you want to pursue, and getting real with the script underlying what it is that you do, why it is that you do what it is that you do, and how you talk to yourself on that pursuit. And even like observing, like, is the way that you talk to yourself and the way that you feel about yourself underneath holding you back from certain opportunities, right? Like with this new moon being supercharged by Jupiter, it's like this energy around getting honest with yourself, around how it is that you've been like talking to yourself underneath certain subconscious messages that have been programmed, and seeking if you can plant the seeds to support your success from the inside out, right? Like, it's not going to necessarily get you on Forbes under 30 if you're just sitting there saying affirmations and mantras all day long, but it can be very supportive around reprogramming your subconscious, how it is that you talk to yourself, so that when an opportunity comes up that would be aligned with where it is that you want to go, you feel confident taking it, or you believe in yourself enough to put yourself out there for it. So diving into that, I also want to highlight some of you need to plant the seeds around having more healthier habits with yourself. Some of you can have certain bad habits. This is the house of self-undoing, so you can be asked at this time to plant the seeds around cutting smoking or cutting drinking or anything that's getting in the way of you leveling up your life, right? With energy in Capricorn, anything that's like beneath your standards. I also want to highlight 12th house is also a lot of different spiritual modalities. So some of you can be called to kind of build to the top of your ability as it relates to understanding dreams better, or when it comes to learning a spiritual modality, diving deeper into your intuition, things of that nature. And this is the house of solitude. So some of you need to have better boundaries boundaries around feeling comfortable saying no if something does feel to lower or cheapen your standards. Like, my love, it is better to be alone than around people where you have to lower your standards of what it is that you accept. Like, with the energy of new moon, it can be asking you to reframe your isolation as solitude, like something that is spiritually nourishing, as well as to feel more comfortable spending time alone, having boundaries with yourself around, I need to be home by 10 p.m. in order to make sure that I'm motivated the next day to pursue my ambitions. Like, a lot of what we see as success and ambition within the public, right? There's a lot of roots and there's a lot of things that we don't see that contribute to it. How it is that we talk to ourselves, how it is that we rest, how it is that we take care of ourselves when no one's around. And that's why you're being asked to build your success from a very hidden, private place, and understand, and it's not new moon necessarily about putting the seeds towards the success, but sort of just reframing your subconscious and your solitude in order to become the person who feels more comfortable building what it is that you want, feeling worthy of what it is that you want. Loving yourself enough to put distance between you and the habits that are getting in the way of what it is that you want. Deepening your connection to your intuition so that you can recognize when an opportunity comes your way that is in alignment to what it is that you want. And know that with this new moon, the following new moon will most likely be in your first house, which is much more visible. So when it comes to this new moon, it's not the most external, tangible one, but it's powerful nonetheless. So loves, this Capricorn new moon is a powerful one when we pair the Capricorn new moon's patience with the Jupiter and Aries persistence. There is nothing that we cannot accomplish with this new moon. We just need to ensure that we are tempering the Jupiter and Aries impulsiveness, as well as inspiring the Capricorn new moon's starkness. Again, they're a dream team. They're very different, the energy of the Capricorn new moon squaring Jupiter and Aries. Jupiter and Aries has the inspiration, enthusiasm that Capricorn new moon needs, and the Capricorn new moon has the patience and the endurance that helps Jupiter and Aries get the initiatives to the finish line. So my loves, let me know what you are intending for this new moon. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.